In the last episode, we were able to use our secret access to the creative menu in survival by pressing the B key to access the spawn eggs in this game and investigate what these things are all about. So I've created this vault room here, which stores all sorts of spawn eggs from within the game that we were able to access using that backdoor access to the creative menu. And I don't know what we'll do with these. One day, maybe they'll come in useful for some future projects, but for the time being, they're all just in here. But did you know there's actually more to these spawn eggs than you might have thought? Go on, take a look. I know, we're not supposed to have these. You keep it. Hello everybody, welcome back to Minecraft The Journey with me, BugmanCX. We are currently in snapshot 11W49A, exploring all of the snapshots that will eventually lead us up to release 1.1 in this Minecraft Let's Play series. I'm out here in the desert because I want to do some work. I haven't built anything for a while other than just, working on the ravine base, which is just over there, just over that little tree line there. And there's this desert out here, and it's been out here for ages, and I thought, why not build something out here? So we're going to transform this area into a bit of a deserty, castle-y sort of area E. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet, but I'm starting to think about the plans for this space, and hopefully we can work over this over the next few episodes or however long it takes. But for now, I might start planning around this area and see what we can do with it. This is actually quite a large desert, and I don't intend to use the entire desert here. What I want to do is focus the build around this central area here where you can see this river flows through the middle of the desert here, and I want to sort of incorporate the river here somehow as if whoever lives here would live by the river because it's a source of fresh water for them, something like that. But around here, I want to build some tall structures that will be a bit castle-y like. I'm not sure exactly what I'll do yet. There will probably be some sort of boundary wall like you might expect in a deserty castle sort of thing. And then a lot of little village places for people to meet, eat and live, that sort of thing. Bit like a desert village inside of a castle wall with a big castle-y structure in the middle. That to me is just a little bit intimidating because I've never built anything quite like that before, so we'll have to see how we go. And you know me, I don't really do a lot of planning for my builds, I just kind of get stuck in. So let's see how we get on. Well, I've done a bit of construction work here. As you can see, we have this structure on the right-hand side. It's quite tall, and this one here, which at the moment is a little bit shorter. But you can see where I was going here. I wanted this river section to be quite open, and some tall structures on either side of it like this that you make your way through. You'll probably make your way through on foot. As you can see, there's a staircase here, or come in through this way in your boat, maybe, something like that. And then some walls and some other structures will trail off this way and surround this area behind it, and the same in this direction too. They won't be as tall as this around these sections here because I want these to stand out. But we'll come back to this and keep on building and see how we get on throughout the rest of the episode. For now, I want to jump into creative and have a look at some of those forbidden spawn eggs. A lot of blocks and items in the game use the same block ID for variations of the same thing, much like the different tree leaves behind me, which we've explored in previous versions. In the creative menu, these spawn eggs are no different. All of these share the same ID number, so they're exactly the same item. They just happen to have a different metadata value in order to determine two things. First, their color, and second, what they spawn. So spawning a villager would be the ID number, whatever it is to spawn a villager, and ID number, whatever it is to spawn a spider, to make this egg spawn a spider. So what happens if you change the metadata value of these eggs so that they spawn other things in the game? And it is possible to do that. So I've categorized them into these chests here. We've got the game breakers, we've got moving entities, we've got the old mob, which I'll explain a bit later. We've got entities and monsters. So let's have a look up here at the start. First, the game breakers. We've got two eggs here, spawn item and spawn painting. Now what I've done is I have changed the metadata value for these two eggs. For item, I've made it 1, and for the painting, it's 9. And that will cause these two eggs to spawn these particular entities. And you can do this for just about any entity in the game. So spawn item is a weird one because item actually means item, I think. Like an item on the ground. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. But why did I call this Game Breakers? Well, I called it Game Breakers because if you actually use one of these spawn eggs, it'll break the game. Okay, let's try it out. Boom. We just get a blue screen. Oh, and there goes the game. Spawn painting is essentially the same. It also breaks the game. I was really hoping that this one would actually spawn a painting somewhere. So let's just try it out against this leaf block here. Bang. No more game. Welcome everybody to cloud level. I decided to take this build all the way up to... Hey, this cloud's going to roll in over my head here in a moment. I should be inside of a cloud. Oh, I love that. I decided to take this build up to cloud level because... Why not, eh? This is actually build height up here. And look how high we are. Quite high. Let's get down to ground level because I want to turn back around and show you what this thing looks like. Oh, that was almost perfect. I've done that so many times now. I've been playing around with different shapes and building juddy-outy bits. That was very well explained, wasn't it? I wanted to make this big tall building have lots of different levels and different inset parts and outset parts so that it didn't look like just one big flat solid tower going up to the sky. But as you can see, if we have one of these on one side here and then something similar on the left-hand side, not exactly the same by any means, but something quite tall and similar, we'll have these two really large pillar-type building structures that give you this central entryway into this sandcastle-y village thing, which is as yet unnamed and doesn't have a purpose, but we'll get there one step at a time. And you can make your way in there through the river or by land on this side as well, but it should look very large and very ominous. And I don't know how I'm going to make it all connect to the walls and everything out here. Probably just the building heights will recede into the background here a bit, but there's a lot more sandstone that I need to get through before we even get to that. Around the back here, you can see that it is literally just a shell. There's absolutely nothing to it. And one of the reasons for this is, A, it's extremely tall, and B, I don't really have enough sandstone to justify all of this. I'm going to have to be decimating the desert right behind the ravine base over there a lot more in order to finish this build. But I don't want to spend all my time out here. Let's go back to that creative world and have another look at those forbidden spawn eggs. Back to Spawn Egg World, and now we're going to have a look at moving entities. These should be interesting. Let's just scroll our mouse over and have a look. Arrow, Snowball, Eye of Ender Signal .name, Block of TNT, Fireball, Small Fireball, Thrown Ender Pearl, and a Spawn of Falling Block. All right, let's take all of these down into our inventory, and of course the game has put them in reverse order for me. Let's start over here with Arrow. Now I can't spawn this into the sky because I have to spawn these eggs against a solid block. So let's go over to this tree and spawn an arrow. Huh. It's just gone down onto the ground here because I guess it's almost like it's hit the... Why didn't it go into the tree? It doesn't have any trajectory, that's why, because I haven't fired it from anywhere. Let's do one on the ground. Oh, that one was different. That one fires off in a specific direction. Let's try here, here. How interesting. All right, let's move on to the second one, which is Spawn Snowball. It's not quite like throwing a snowball, is it? You have to do it against a block like this. And what's interesting is just like the arrow, there's no trajectory. So the snowball just falls down to the ground like this, directly down. Next, we have Eye of Ender Signal, which is interesting. Let's do it. Wow, that was quick. Eye of Ender Signal. So this is when you throw... Let's get one out of the inventory here and actually take a look at this. When you throw an actual Eye of Ender into the sky... Where did it go? The Eye of Ender goes up into the sky, pointing the direction of the nearest stronghold. So that one's gone off, telling us in that direction. But when we did it with this one, which is, yes, this one, it goes off that way. Where's it pointing? Is that maybe 0, 0? In fact, let's have a look here. We are going down with our coordinates towards 0, 0. So this is my guess. I'm guessing that this goes towards 0, 0. I'm going to keep doing this for a bit and we'll see where we end up. Aha, have a look at this. We're almost at 0, 0. I'm just -7 on the Z there. And if I put this spawn egg against the tree, you'll see that it just goes just down here. So this must be 0, 0. And the higher vendor thing there, it's just going straight down. So presume, whoa. Did you see that? So they must fly from wherever they are in the world, target 0, 0, and then just float down like the snowballs do. It's the same as this is really strange, isn't it? Look at that. Let's dig down to bedrock. Got myself a void hole here, so if I just go up slightly and drop a few of them down, what do? Oh, they disappear directly in the void as soon as they hit the void. No, they're sort of floating there, and then they smash. Wow. I didn't expect any of this behavior. This is just completely strange, isn't it? And if you do them underneath, wow. Look at them. They're just so weird. The next one is block of TNT, and I'm pretty sure I know what's going to happen with this one. So we'll do it over here in the water so that we don't destroy the world completely. Boom. All right, let's destroy the world a bit. We'll do it right on top of this dirt block. And of course it destroys it because of course it's got the blast of TNT. Boom. So the next one we have is fireball. All right, fireball, we'll do that against the tree. And we just get a little puff of smoke. I guess the fireball itself doesn't want to spawn in the world. This is the fireball that the ghast would shoot. Let's have a look at the next one, which is the small fireball. Pretty much the same. We just get a puff of smoke, which is unfortunate, really. Unfortunate. The next one in the list is thrown ender pearl. Let's have a look at this one. We get the particle effect from the ender pearl, but the ender pearl itself just drops straight down just like a snowball. They don't float anywhere like the Eye of Ender do. They just go straight down in whatever spot they've been placed. So not very interesting, but let me try one thing here. Let's make... I'm clicking furiously. I want to see what happens with all of these particle effects all in the same space. They all just converge at that point. Pretty spectacular. And the last one we have to look at is the falling block. This would be for a gravel or a sand block. And unfortunately, it doesn't do anything, I guess because there's no falling block to fall. Old mob. If you remember way back in the beginning of this game, the very first mob to be added was just the mob, and it was based on what we now consider to be the player, and it ran around the world flailing its arms everywhere. But it was quickly removed and replaced with proper mobs a little bit later on. Well, I mean, there's a lot more history to that, and we've been through all of that in this series. But I'm sure that you remember that specific mob. During beta, the code for this mob was supposedly removed, but it was so ingrained into the code that it was still present for quite a long time. And even now, in release 1.1 or snapshots for release 1.1, there are still remnants of this code in the game. These two spawn eggs will spawn monster. I think this is the first mob, and this one spawns mob, also the first mob. So I don't know quite the difference between the two of these, but I'm going to take these spawn eggs and see what happens. Let's see what will come of this spawn egg. Nothing. Nothing comes of this spawn egg. That's so disappointing. Let's try this other one, which was called just mob. Nothing. So I guess remnants of this entity still exist within the game code, which is why they appear on these spawn eggs. But unfortunately, there's just nothing left of it to spawn within the world. The next box of toys we have is the entities box, and in here we have minecart, we have boat, we have experience orb, and we have ender crystal. So let's try out this minecart first. And it's doing exactly what I would expect. It's allowing you to put down a minecart in the world, although I notice you can place this down without having to have rails underneath it, which is a requirement for placing normal minecarts. So that's just a way of bypassing that restriction in the game, I suppose. The next one on the list is boat, and again, I think it's just going to do exactly what we expect. place down a boat as if we had one in our inventory. Although you can't place it on top of the water. You have to place it against a block because it is a spawn egg. So that's just a little bit strange, isn't it? And I suppose we can we can place one up in the tree there. That's pretty interesting. The next one is an experience orb. So we can just do an unlimited amount of experience orbs, and it looks like they will just track towards the player like normal experience orbs. In the game, normally experience orbs can range in experience, but these all look like basic tiny little spawn XP orbs, I should say, all probably worth 1 point each, I would imagine. And let's just get rid of these because they're going to tinkle all the time if I don't get rid of them. And the last one is the Ender Crystal. This one should be interesting. I'm curious to see exactly what we get. Let's place it down right here. Wow. Okay, we get the Ender Crystal, which appears on top of the obsidian pillars in the end dimension. It's not possible to get these end crystals in the regular game. It's certainly not possible to get them in vanilla, in the main world, I should say. Now, we did experience in survival that you can actually walk into these crystals and they do nothing. However, if you do punch them, they will explode. I almost destroyed all the chests. Perfectly repaired, you wouldn't even notice. Well, I've saved the best chest for last. That's monsters. I don't even want to show you what's in this chest. So let's just take these one egg at a time. The first one is this beautiful red one here. Can you guess what's going to come out of this beautiful burgundy egg? Well, it's a snowman. Obviously, in the main game, you can't spawn snowmen any other way other than constructing them with the snow blocks and the pumpkin. But here I can spawn in as many of them as I want. And of course, they're going to cause complete and utter havoc over this landscape by covering it in beautiful white snow. So instead of that, let's go over here and try out this second egg here. What do you think this one's going to be? It's green in color, although as we know, that doesn't tell us anything. Let's place one down right here. Oh, it's the giant. We haven't seen the giant since Classic, or maybe we revisited it in beta at some point. I can't remember, but wow. It's amazing that this mob still exists as a separate mob called the Giant in the game. This thing has the zombie AI. It's just going to wander around, although it doesn't burn up in the sun. But again, I can spawn many of these in. There we go. Many of them. And they'll just populate the world and exist here doing giant things. I actually love this mob, and I wish there was a way for this mob to be re-added into the game. I think it would be an interesting thing to come across randomly when you're exploring your world. Just an extremely rare variation of the zombie to spawn maybe in certain biomes like extreme hills or something, I don't know. But I love this mob. All right, the final one. Now, I'm sorry, Mr. Blacksmith, but I'm about to destroy your village with an ender dragon. That's right, an ender dragon. Let's do it. Let's just plonk one here. Oh, oh boy. Oh boy. An ender dragon in survival. It's targeting me, or in the main world, not in survival. I'm in creative, but even though I'm in creative, it's targeting me. Where's it going? It's abandoned me. Oh no, it's coming around for another pass. Or is it actually targeting 0-0? It's quite possible it's targeting 0-0. And as you can see, it's just flown out of the currently loaded chunks, which is why it's stuck up there in the sky. I'm going to sleep and bring it back to daytime, and then we're going to spawn a few more of these. Now, one of the properties of the Ender Dragon is that it destroys blocks that aren't bedrock, endstone, or obsidian. And that means that out here in the main world, it's quite destructive. And we've seen this before when we first experimented with the Ender Dragon. And now that I have this spawn egg, I can quite easily spawn in as many of these as I want and cause absolute chaos in this world. And why not, right? It's a disposable creative world. Who cares? Sorry, Squid. But let's just go down to the bottom of the world. I'm going to dig down all the way down to basically bedrock. And from down here, any Ender Dragon I release should immediately carve its way through all of this stone above me, leaving a beautiful cave right behind it in its trail of destruction. So let's let another one loose right in front of me here, and off it goes immediately into some lava. That looks, oh, amazing. Hi, off you go, wherever you're going, leaving a huge cavern behind you. There you go, off into the distance. Let's follow you right up to the surface here. Wow, look at this amazing thing. Imagine taking one of these things mining with you. That would be a sight to see, wouldn't it? Now we have 2 of them in the world. I can obviously spawn in a lot more of these. Let's head back down into the cave. We can just float on down. Oh, no, they're targeting me. They're targeting me. I'm just going to let a few more loose. Obviously, these will just completely destroy the world around me. And notice, again, they don't make any sound, as we discovered when we battled these in the end. But off they go. They're going to hang around that 0-0 location for sure and just populate the sky. I wonder what happens if I put maybe a giant down in the world. Maybe if one of the dragons comes down and targets me, it'll also target the giant. And then the giant will get aggressive at the Ender Dragon. Look at the scale of that giant compared to the Ender Dragon. The giant is bigger. I can't even place one down. The giant is bigger than the Ender Dragon. That's quite astounding, really. Look at that. No, not that. This. I've completely ruined my shovel. I've been out of that other desert collecting all the sand necessary to make all this sandstone so that I can just build the walls up here, because I wanted this thing to look a little bit more complete before the end of the episode to give myself a better sense of what the end state of at least this tower might look like. I have a lot more tweaking to do. This was really just a very rough build at the moment, but I'm quite happy with it, and I'm looking forward to seeing how I might fill out the rest of this desert and build this tower as well. Quite a bit more work to do here on this side project. Well, that is all we have time for in today's episode. I want to say thank you to Music Bike for giving me the information about the spawn eggs, which we explored in today's episode. And thank you as well to my wonderful patrons for all of the support. Thank you to you for watching. I'll see everybody in the next episode. Until then, this has been Bugman CX. You've been watching Minecraft: The Journey. Bye-bye.